You know, my story reminds me of a modern day story by a man named Michael Brian. And Michael Brian tells this story about an experience he had in a health club. His family had a membership. And he said, the hot tub, life was right, life was good. When he sat in the hot tub, everything was right with the world. But one day, his daughters came to him, Elizabeth and Rebecca, and they said, "Dad, have you tried the sun shower?" A sun shower? What is that? And did I even want to know what the sun shower was? They pointed over there to a white tube, and they said, "You stand up in there, you get a tan, but more than that, you get this refreshing breeze. Just like the breeze on the oceans or on the beaches in South Carolina." Well, I knew the beaches in South Carolina, they were next to perfect. So I went in and I said, "What do I do?" They said, "You take a pound and you drop it in the slot and you stand there and you feel this wonderful experience." So I went in. I stepped into a little small closet, closed the door. It was dark. I put on the goggles. I read the instructions all the way through because I still wasn't sure what I was doing. And so I closed my eyes tight and I stood there waiting for the 3 minutes. Oh yeah, that's right. I took the goggles off, the coin. I had to throw in a coin. I threw the coin in, I put my goggles back on, and I stood there in that little small room. I heard some whirring, some clicking noises, but I didn't feel anything. Nothing. So I stepped out of the closet. There's my daughters waiting on me. "Dad, how was it?" "I know it was wonderful." Well, I had to tell the truth. I said, "Well, maybe this thing is for your daughters and not for me." "Oh, Dad." Next week, we came back, and they said to me, "Dad, maybe you should try it 6 minutes instead of 3. Maybe you just didn't get the full effect of the 3 minutes." I said, "Okay." I got in the little closet again, closed the little door, read the instructions all the way down, put on my goggles, and stood and waited. Oh yeah, take the goggles off, throw a little money in, put my goggles back on, and I wait. Nothing. So when the 6 minutes was over, and if you think 3 minutes is a long time, 6 minutes is forever. I stepped out of the room, and there they were. "Dad, how was it? Was it wonderful? Did you really get refreshed?" I said, "Girls, this just isn't for me." So we went back to the health club the 3rd week. I was in my hot tub. All was right with the world. Here they come. "Dad, maybe you just need to try it for 9 minutes this time. 9 minutes. I'm sure this is something you don't want to miss." I looked over at my wife. She gave me that look. "You got yourself in this mess. You get yourself out of this mess." So I went back to the little closet, opened the door, closed the door, stepped in there, put on the goggles, read the instructions straight through. Not a word had been changed. And I folded my arms and I waited. Oh, yes. A little more money in there. I got the coins. Then I heard the clicking and the whirring. And I decided on this 3rd time, maybe I'll just open my eyes. And I could see right right through the garbage. And I saw a mirror. So I stepped towards the mirror, hoping that I'd get a better tan and experience this thing that they were talking about. Nothing. But as I got ready to turn for the mirror, I saw these knobs, and I thought, well, maybe those are the knobs that will send the sun rays on me and tan me. But then I saw a knob behind me. And so I turned around, and I reached for the knob, and I opened the door. And when I opened the door, there was this refreshing, renewing experience. 3 weeks, I stood in the changing closet. Hoping to get that experience. And all of the time, I missed it. While I stood in the changing closet. Maybe some of you, in your experience with Jesus, have been waiting a long time. You come to church, you put on your goggles, you sit in your bed, you wait for the experience. What's all of this stuff people are talking about? Jesus is a good friend, Jesus is loving, Jesus is exciting, Jesus is this and Jesus is that. But you sit and you wait. Oh yes, that's right, throw in some more money. I got to throw in the money inside. But you're in the changing room. You have not stepped into the experience of a lifetime. The experience of a renewing, refreshing, restoring God through Jesus. Jesus was my experience as I stepped from the changing room into the most marvelous experience. Are you still waiting? Waiting to experience the goodness of Jesus, the grace of Jesus, the love of Jesus, and the power of God to heal our brokenness, to do something about your sins and mine. All we have to do, open our eyes, see the knob, turn the handle, and step in. You see, Jesus came to my house. He stepped in. I stepped in too. And as I saw Jesus, this holy man, I realized my sins didn't make a difference to him. He came to be with me. That last statement, if you go to the Luke passage, says, this day, salvation has come to my house. Salvation has come to all of our houses. But have we turned the door and opened and stepped in to experience God's grace, God's forgiveness, God's hope? For me, I stood up, I said to Jesus, I will give half of everything I owe to the poor. Hold on. Are we willing to rectify the sins in our world? The sins that make others suffer in poverty, in hunger, in shame, in guilt. There are many Zacharias just like me, sinners who Jesus came to. They need to know the power, the love, and the grace of God. And then I made my confession. If I've cheated anyone, and you know I did, I had that money. I had the money. But I made the confession in the faith